Zoom record. Okay, so here, this is going to be the same on every, the information that they give you, the evidence that they give you, the student samples, whether they be oral or it be a conversation with the teacher, like they'll script it out, or whether it be written, whatnot.
Right.
A
Okay.
videotape, right? They'll give you a collection of evidence. You will use that evidence to assess the student in two main areas. Those two
Okay.
main areas are going to be foundational reading skills, and let me just get my handy dandy highlighter out. So foundational reading skills here, and then also reading comprehension skills, right? And this portion of the exam is going to be the same. This is what is required of you. If you give them exactly this, identify one significant need in foundational reading skills, identify one significant need that the student demonstrates with reading comprehension, and then describe one appropriate, effective, either instructional strategy or activity that you will use to address that standard, that deficiency, I should say. So,
Okay.
so for foundational reading skills, it even gives you, and I believe on the exam it gives you it as well, examples of what foundational reading skills actually are. What are they? Well, they list them there for you. You should know these, and I'm going to get a different color here, but we have phonemic awareness skills. That is a foundational reading skill. So important. Science and research over decades has shown us that students that have strong phonemic awareness skills are better readers, meaning that they can comprehend more later on. Phonetic skills. Students that can recognize high frequency words, they are going to be better readers. These are all foundational reading skills, the building blocks to our literacy and reading. And so when one or more of these areas or skills is deficient or needs support, it is going to have a direct result, a direct effect on that student's reading comprehension. And I'll give you an example. Today I worked with a special ed teacher. She is a special ed teacher for reading, and I don't know how it works, but she's working on reading, she was telling me, in any event, with her ninth graders. And she said this is the first time she's in the classroom herself. She didn't realize how much she had to go back to help support her students, right? She saw they were having difficulty in reading comprehension with their spelling. They were doing phonetic spelling. They spelled table, T-A-B-U. And so she said, okay, they don't understand sounds, but they're in the ninth grade. And she even asked me, is that, but they all have an intellectual disability. So yes, it is not okay, but it is perfectly normal for that to be the case, and for you to have to rewind back to phonetic skill awareness to do morphemic analysis things. And we're just going to jump really quickly so I can show you an example and also just give you a tip, because this is how I'm going to want you to prepare for this section. We have Pinterest here. Perfect example. Pinterest is a gold mine, if there ever was, for teachers. Every teacher has a Pinterest where they collect things, whether it be the way they decorate their room, different, and then they add to it. Just everyday amazing teachers, just the soldiers in education, collecting. So there are so many. If you come here and you type in one of those deficiencies that a student would have, like phonemic awareness, right? We will find so many hands-on activities to support. Look, this one is with poppets, where they have to pop out the letter for you. I mean, it just a plethora of activities of, different things, strategies you can do. And we'll take a look at another one. We'll look at, let me see, phonemic, morphemic analysis. And I'll show you this one because I love it so much. And this was the one I was looking for with my student earlier, because we know a lot of things based on theory, right? Based on the theoretical framework that we have. And we know students learn best when they're using their body, when they're into it, when there's color, when there's movement, fluidity, when it's like a game, when you take a little bit of that sort of anxiety that they might have at getting something wrong. And so this is an excellent activity that I could even use with my ninth graders to do prefixes, suffixes, and root words, to have them play in the language, build different, you could even tell them, okay, now after they trying to form different words, and you can tell them the definition and have them try to form a word based on the different parts that they have. So many ways that you could utilize this. And the way that it translates is that as they're reading, they have difficulty decoding because they can't move it around and see how the different parts work. This illustrates for them visually, in a physical, kinesthetic way, the parts, the different morphemic units of meaning, right? And it will translate for them to remember that play, remember that movement, and when they are going through a word and trying to find, is there something in there that I am familiar with to correlate with word meaning? Incredibly useful. This is an example of what is it called? The Freyer model being used for vocabulary expansion. So when you're preparing for this, I've told other, students that, and I'm just going to draw on here, but it's going to kind of be ugly because this is not a whiteboard. But so when you're preparing, because you should prepare for this before you take your exam, so that you don't have to sit there and think like, what can I think of for like morphemic analysis skills? Like if they need that, if they can't figure out words, morphemes, word parts, then this is what I need. So instead of having to think of it on that day, do a T chart for each of the two, for this one and for this one, where you have, foundational reading skills is above here, and you write phonemic awareness skill right here, what that means and what that lacks. Just write it down here. On this side, you write the activities that you found on Pinterest that are the most beneficial as far as differentiation is concerned. The ones that I showed you are excellent because they're not just pen and paper. It's not just a picture of a letter and then, the letter and a picture of a cat, like a C and a cat, and you have to circle it and connect it. That's, that's very not engaging. And so when we're trying to help a student that already demonstrates need, you want to go beyond the pen and paper. You want to go beyond, I'm explaining it to you with my words. There has to be an illustration. You already have explained it in words, and that wasn't sufficient. Right. So bringing in the manipulatives, making a game of it, finding ways to cross connect with things that they're familiar with, going to be very important. So I would, for each of these morphemic awareness skills, phonetic skills, high frequency words, syllabication, morphemic analysis, automicity, because we need automicity so that the fluency doesn't get messed up, and if you lack automicity in your reading, it probably means that you need more recognition of high frequency words. Most of our automicity comes from those high frequency words. We stop and pause in our reading when it is an unfrequent word, and that's when we need the students to have syllabication skills, morphemic analysis skills, so that it doesn't again impede with automicity. So that's what I would do in preparation for this particular section. Thinking out beforehand, find one or two if you want to be extra, but I would just do one. Don't make your brain remember more than one, but these are going to be things that you actually are going to use inside of your class. So this is an investment in planning for the class to begin with. And it's like sort of a research project. Research the best, sort of most engaging activity or strategy to support that foundational reading skill. And likewise, what strategy, do a separate T chart where you look at vocabulary knowledge, where you look at syntax, knowledge of sentence and grammar structures, literal, inferential, evaluative comprehension skills, like can they understand if something's metaphoric or not, and so those all have excellent examples of on Pinterest. The one we were looking at here, this one can also be used with we were just looking at for reading comprehension. Oh, sentence structure, right? So each one would have an actual word on it and or punctuation. And you can do this in group work where they have to put them, right here it is, sentence building activity. And it's not that you're doing anything different. You could put these on a piece of paper, but for some reason, the actual movement, the fluidity, getting it, the talking with people, and let me have this one and remembering certain things, this solidifies in their brain to help where it becomes retrievable knowledge for later, which where they can apply it in the classroom and in the paper reading, right? In that reading.
You look like it's very good. I mean, I just never used Pinterest. Is that something that's going to be an assignment of mine later on in the future?
There is supposed to be this very assignment in the curriculum, but the curriculum was moved over from one server. We used to use It's Learning, and then Teacher Builder, I believe, made their own sort of, platform. And so I wasn't involved in the movement, and I just took over all I created the courses a very, very long time ago. And so I don't actually know if the assignment is there, but it is supposed to be an assignment for every content area I pose research sort of find and seek, you know what I mean? Where you have to go and find a good activity for a particular teak, for a particular competency within your content area, because it is such an invaluable research. And I mean, for when you're doing calculus, there's stuff for calculus. You're talking about microbiology, there's stuff for microbiology. I mean, it is like everything.
Okay.
You're reading a particular book, they have stuff for that particular book, activities for it. It's just a wealth. It's all of the amazing teachers that there are in the world sort of collaborating together. This one here, excellent visual about sub equals under, and to have them in a group, maybe each one takes a word, takes a section, and then they present it to the class, and then you put it on the word wall. So many things that you could do to help the students. And so between now and the next time that you want to meet with me, that's what I would suggest you do, is work on finding your key activities that you would do to support these areas of need, and just do it for the ones that they list in the examples. Example vocabulary, comprehension strategies, a comprehension strategy for reading, and it's something that I have my own students do it with their standards. But to take, like, let's say a competency from the science of teaching reading, let's say oral language proficiency, where the student needs to learn to listen and speak, right? So it's not just oral language proficiency, just not just speaking, it's also my ability to be a real listener and to understand the message of the person that's being given. So sort of taking those chunks, those competencies, and rephrasing them. Like, what did I understand? Chunking the text, each little chunk or competency, you sort of paraphrase it for yourself. This is what this means in my own words. That is a comprehension skill. It's a metacognition skill, which is where we ask students to think about their thinking, right? And so it helps them, gauge, did I understand this paragraph? You know what, I can't even put it into a sentence in my own words, so let me go back and reread this. So that is a comprehension strategy that we teach and use for reading comprehension. So many that are there. You must remember to give them exactly what they ask for. So this is what the format. So it's one significant need in foundational reading skills, and you citing evidence from the exhibits. So there's passage reading, there's a fluency data, there's all whatever evidence they give you, right? From the exhibits, that's how they refer to them. They don't refer to them as evidence, they refer to them as exhibits. But I'm saying use site specific things. You know, if he's having difficulty, you know, with comprehension and with decoding, then maybe morphemic analysis skills are going to be what I'm going to go for. But I have to make sure that I provide and that I cite in quotations, like to show them this comes not from me. I'm not saying it, it comes from your evidence. This is how I made this, this assessment. And then follow it up with something from Pinterest, you know, an appropriate, effective instructional strategy that will help support that student need that you identified. And next, the next one is reading comprehension. So you identify from that same group of that same, you know, exhibits, those same exhibits, the specific evidence that you identified that made you assess that made you come to the conclusion they needed help with comprehension strategies, right? That might be one of the things, or maybe sentence structure, or maybe vocabulary. And so making sure that you give them not just one, that you give them a couple, just two would be solid, two solid pieces of evidence, because citing specific evidence, it says evidence, and so one should be enough, but just to be sure, you can throw two specific instances that made you say, from two different documents, that is obviously more strong as far as your response. And then again, follow it up with one appropriate strategy from Pinterest that would help you address whatever comprehension issues you have. And then this piece is so important, and many people leave it off. You have to connect the dots for TEA or for Pearson. You have to say, okay, so this student who is suffering from phonemic, you know, or lacks phonemic analysis skills will benefit from the root word building blocks exercise, because it allows the student to play with the language, to play with the morphemes, you know, and create language so that they understand more fully the way in which words are built, and that different word parts carry meaning on their own, and when we push them together, we get another meaning. And so and that transfers back to their understanding on paper, making sure you connect the dots. This is why I chose it, this is why it works. And that's it, and you will get all the points. It doesn't even have to be all long and crazy, and it can
just get to the point.
Yes, just make sure you address these things. You know, I think even
and support it with something that I can use, like maybe, it's like Pinterest, something from Pinterest or anything else.
Yeah, and you don't have to don't say from Pinterest, just call it whatever it is. So you
the name of the
the building blocks root word. Let's see how they put it. Like they call it something else.
I see I get your point.
Yeah, root word towers or whatever, and then you would explain what all that was, and how, you know, the fact that it's kinesthetic, it's visual, it can be group, it could be solo. I mean, it's just like you could even say have them work in partners, and everybody has a pair, and you read a definition like when something is underneath the water, it can be described as, and they have to, like, I don't know, come up with the word submerged or something like that. And so they would work together and be like, okay, well, it's under, what is that? Sub is under. And so, like, working together, getting them, you know, to interact, to play with the language, to begin to see how they themselves can use these skills as they're reading.
Okay, I got it. It just seemed like it's so much information, and then
it really is.
And you have to be tested in 30 days. So I'm like, wait a minute, hold up. I have to get through the content first to be able to understand what I'm being tested over.
Absolutely. And so the thing is that, and you look, there even can get these. You can say, I went to Lowe's and got some paint chips, and then you know,
right.
You could, this is so many. It is a lot. and I have to say, thank you for your service. I feel like everybody should say that to teachers, because what teachers have to learn and what they have to be able to produce with the most valuable resource that we have, our children. You know what I mean? These are human beings who come
Right.
with problems, who come to us hungry, and we have to make it work. And apart from knowing all the content, apart from knowing all, the way that human growth and development is and how to help, it is a lot. So I thank you
Yes, it
for
is.
starting this. And you're just so very needed. And I promise you, you won't regret it. It's a beautiful field, and it's so important.
Okay, well, I'm gonna give it my all, but I
Yes, ma'am.
definitely
I'm going to
need
give
to
it my
go
all with
in.
you. So we'll get it done together. I promise you.
Now, I haven't done the 240 yet because I wanted to kind of at least review what I'm gonna need to study, because I haven't gotten into that, because I needed to do the welcome video. I had to do
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I know it's so much. I know.
yeah,
And so
it's a
all
lot.
you have to do is sign up for the exam. We just want to, because some people will just come in and then they'll just sit and they never test. And so we do this to keep you in the process. You are in control of whether you test or not at the end of 30 days. If at the end of 30 days you say, Miss Alsada, I'm not ready, like I'll go in there and fail, we'll just push it back. We'll push it back. I'm your teacher, just like, and the
Right.
best assessment, even of your students are the best indicator, which is why we want to teach them to self-assess, so they can say,
Correct.
you know what, I don't know. I'm
Right.
not ready for that. Like, I need more for this. We want to get to that point. So if you get closer to taking your exam and you feel like I need 2 more weeks, that's not a problem at all. You just let me know, and then you reschedule, and it's not even a big deal. So that's not set in stone. Please don't be, you just have to, make the, so
At
that,
least make an effort and an attempt to try to, yeah, I know what you mean.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I know that it's a lot, and I want to go in straight prepared. You know what I mean? I do not want to go in and be like, oh my God, I don't think I know this information. You know what I mean? I want to
Right.
make sure that I'm successful when I actually test.
Absolutely. I wouldn't want to take things, more.
No, because it's very expensive, and then there are ramifications, of course, if you don't pass it by the first one. I was reading all of that. See, I was going through all the information that you guys sent, and I
Right.
was like, oh my God, you know what I mean? But I hadn't even had a chance to look at it because I've been going through some of the materials that they said that I had to do right away with the welcome deal, because I just started at 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock yesterday. And then of course I've been at work all day today
Right.
and rushed to get here for your, your
Oh, I'm
appointment at
so sorry.
3:30. That's okay. Yeah, I'm in the school system now, and I am doing like a long-term teaching position
Okay.
currently.
Good.
But I'm not ready to jump into nobody's classroom until I have something to show for it, if you
Right.
know what I mean.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So
Hmm.
I'm going to resend you this material, but I have this PowerPoint, sort of like an overview, the top points of science of teaching reading. And like I said, over decades, consistent scientific reports, research yielded consistent findings on the importance of learning to read in the early stages, the importance of getting a strong, again, foundation in those reading skills was the make or break deciding factor on whether a student is going to be an effective reader later on,
Correct.
which is why they created, science of teaching reading. It's new. It's only been tested on
A
for
year.
like 2 years.
Oh, 2 years.
I was
Okay.
part of the whole shebang when TEA was like coming up with the standards and stuff. And so it's exciting because I think it is going to be helpful. It's the instruction is going to change. And that's going to be something that's good. I don't think that we're going to see gains until, these kids who are
Right.
going through STR are now in high school. Right now, we have high schoolers that unfortunately are having to, I spoke to you today about my special ed teacher, my student who is a special ed teacher, and she's having to do 2nd grade phonemic awareness activities with her 9th grade special education class. And is that bad or wrong? Absolutely. Some people might say because they're a great on grade level, but we know now, in order to rectify on grade level issues with reading comprehension, we have to go back and rectify that early stuff, those early
Correct.
foundational reading skills. And so
Like
here's great.
immature literacy and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's
So,
right. Now I have a quick question though,
mhm.
as it relates to the test itself. Is the pass score like 75% of the, I mean, do you have to pass with at least 75%, 80%, or what is the pass rate for
I'm not
this?
sure. Pearson is really weird. They're so weird about their scoring. I mean, you just have to get a 240, I believe. That's
240.
the score. I don't know what percentage that is. I do know that every exam has some questions that don't even count for you, that
Right.
are just field test questions that they are trying out to see if
Like
maybe
pilot type of questions.
right. If they're too
Mm-hmm.
easy, they're gonna scrap it. If it's
Mm-hmm.
too hard, they'll scrap it. They want they want like 75% of the people to get it wrong. They do. They
Mm,
honestly, they want, that's their sweet spot. You know what I'm saying? They
right.
want that because it is a money-making thing. I one of my students that I spoke with today, she got a 239 and she paid $60 to have her test assessed because it had a written portion to it. And when there is writing and it's subjective in that way, that you can pay $60 to have somebody look at it again. And they said, well, thank you for your money. We looked at it again and you have to take it again. So here's the link to sign up. And so she's out, not only she's just out more, so it's unfortunate, which is why I really appreciate your approach. It's the savvy approach. You don't want to go in there, and it just astounds me so often that students go in there and they say, I didn't study at all. I just wanted to take it. I just wanted to see how it was. What do you mean?
No,
Like,
I don't
so,
have that kind of money.
yeah, well,
Mm.
I don't either. And I don't have that kind of confidence either. Like, I need to know what I'm going to go into. Like,
Exactly.
I do
I
not
want to
know.
know what I'm up against. I want to know what I'm facing. I want to be well prepared when I hit the
Absolutely.
door.
No surprises. I want to go in and, conquer. None of this. I'm going in to like do some reconnaissance. Like, no.
I heard it was a pilot at first, but I think it's over. I think it was over today. Like people that scored like 35 to 45% correct, they passed.
Oh,
But I
really?
think now it's up, the stakes is up because the pilot is over or whatever they was doing
Right.
at first. So I missed out on that. I didn't know anything about that because I had did a pretest. Never studied it or anything. I on 240 one day, and I made like 50 and 50. And I was like, oh my God, I could have passed. But then you already know that usually there's not always the same test that you take. You know what I mean? The
It's
tests
never,
are
and not
different.
usually, it never is the same because Pearson, they are crazy people about testing security. They don't even give us that they know we're preparing you. Like, that's our job. They don't give us like, this is how you could better help for the exam prepare. None of that stuff. It's all secretive. For over a decade, they had the same manuals for all of the different content areas. It just wasn't updated. Those were the same 30 questions that people had to study with. And it was just, there
Wow.
are some better questions, but there are a lot of manuals because anybody, like, I could put together a manual, I probably would do a better job than some of the ones I've seen. But, if you're not someone who knows the tricks that they try to put in and you just are creating questions that are based on just surface level knowledge, like, which of these is an example of phonology? None of the questions are going to be like that. It's going to be,
Right.
Miss
Of course.
Salceda's students are having difficulty identifying high frequency words during in-class readings. Which of the following, like, it's going to be something like that.
Oh, no.
A critical reading exam. And so paying attention to those details that they give you in the scenario, they might tell you, Miss Salceda's having or wants to help the students with reading comprehension during the reading. Which of the following pre-reading activities could Miss Salceda do? And they might give you 4 amazing reading strategies, but only 2 of them are pre-reading strategies. The other 2 are during reading, or maybe one's during reading, one's after reading. So knowing and remembering, oh, it's only pre-reading. Like it asks for reading comprehension, but what pre-reading strategies? That
Correct.
means before. So if they say before, during, after, all of those time
Right.
markers, those temporal words are important to pay attention
Oh, I
to.
believe it. I believe it. I'm going to ask you one more question and I'm going to let you go whenever you're ready.
Yes,
But
ma'am.
I read something on your site or something that came to me from someone. I don't know who it was. They said something about that your name has to be exactly as it is on your driver's license.
Yes.
That is not like that on my application and everything. Is that okay? Or should I just use my whole name that I have on my license when I get ready to register for everything?
Yeah, just when you register for the test, I think that's the biggest deal, because
Okay.
the testing sites, they pull up your name on a screen, and if it doesn't exactly match with the ID on their document, they're like, you can't test, you're not you. You know what I mean? You have it.
Okay,
and
that's
they,
fine.
and they just won't. Yeah.
Okay, because my middle name is so long with you guys, I think I may have used my middle initial.
Probably.
But then,
Yeah, that's not a big deal. But
Yeah.
as long as when you register for the exam, that's when it really,
really counts.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Okay, I can handle that. All right. I was like, oh my God, do I need to tell somebody to add the rest of my digits in my in my middle name?
Let me ask you, what about your Teal account? Does it have your full name on the Teal account?
Oh God, I'm gonna be finding out in a few minutes because
Okay.
I'm gonna do the teal now. For as the is that the same as Texas?
Yeah, that's with the TEA, that your Teal account.
Yeah.
And I think that also needs to be the legal name.
Okay, I think it is, but I'm not really sure. It's been years and years and years and years and
Okay.
years. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
I will make sure. When I go on there, I'm gonna make sure to make sure it fits the whole name if it'll fit all those digits.
Yeah. What is it?
And
I need to know. I need to know.
yes, it's gonna
What-
be
What is
it's
your middle name?
Devon.
Ooh, I like it.
Thank you. Yeah, it's DYVO. Some school doctors at home, of course, I printed my whole name on there.
Yeah.
But then, oh my God, you're talking about, my house and everything. I had to do the whole documents on 100 pages with it just like that. And I was like, oh my God, that's a lot.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna make sure, but I think it is. I think it has my first, middle, and last name
Okay.
on TEA. Now, you Pearson. So Pearson, you do the CAT exam, computer
Yeah. So yes,
exam.
yeah, that's the Pearson is the testing host. They're the ones that host the exams. And so I know that they have
Okay,
testing site. Where are you located?
in Houston.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there's so many
Several.
testing sites there.
Mhm.
Yeah, I would look to see, read the reviews online for the testing sites, because some testing sites are better than others. Like some of them are really just like, somebody told me that they wore their hair, an ex-student, couple of years ago, right when it changed to Pearson. She had her hair in a bun, went in the morning and threw her hair in a bun, and they made her take her hair down, and they looked through it with a pencil just to make sure she didn't have like a recording or camera in
Oh
her
my
hair.
God, that is crazy.
That's what I'm saying. I would say, like, excuse me. Like, what?
Oh my God.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
understand the buns because they're so easy to throw up and go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm wearing one now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah. So I would research, which one you want to go. There are some that are better than others, more hospitable, if you will. So, and
So
other
I'm
ones.
gonna ask you another thing. I'm sorry to cut you off.
No, not at
I'm
all.
just thinking out loud as I'm talking. Kind of up under my. Is this a 1-year program?
Yes, it's a 1-year program.
Okay.
So, but once you're in a classroom, you have to be the teacher of record for the year, for the school year. And at the end of that, your internship is when we can issue you your standard certificate, and then you're a straight certified teacher. You don't need the help of anyone. You're just good to go. You're a free agent.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, because those that aren't in an EPP, in order to get a job, if you have a degree and you qualify, need the backing or the support of an educator preparation program, you know, to show the state I'm getting the pedagogy portion of it. I came with the knowledge from my university, but here I'm getting the pedagogy instruction. And so that lasts a year. And then at the end of it, the state gives you your certificate, and then you don't need the support. You know, you are a standard certified teacher.
Okay, but the learning portion of it through you, is that designed for a year, everything?
I mean, people finish it a lot faster. You'll probably finish it
Okay.
faster. You could finish the coursework in 2 months.
Okay.
And then just be
Okay,
done
okay.
with it, and just have to pass your exams and do your internship. And honestly, I prefer my students to do that. I think it's a bad idea to wait to finish the coursework when you're the teacher of record for the first year, because you don't have a lot of time and everything feels new and sort of stressful. And so just to not have that, not to have homework is, I think, a big relief. So I just continue
agree.
on. Yeah, if you just continue on, you should be done with the coursework way sooner. And then all you'll have left is your internship.
Okay, I think I can handle it. I think I'm gonna try to get as much as I can. I definitely want to pass that STR first. And then my next one. But I'm not interested in just getting in the classroom and just being a teacher of record just yet. You know what I mean?
Right.
I want to get all what I need. The last step is gonna be that. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So yeah. Yep. That's it. So I'm gonna get in here and try to see what else I can. I'm gonna try to. I'm gonna wait for you to send me the information so I can look at that. But I am gonna knock those videos out tonight. I did 2 of them, I think, so far, and I think I have 4 left because it was 6 videos.
Okay.
So I have 4 left. I'm gonna do those, and then I guess I just move on down the list and go from there.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Now it did say something about an official transcript from one of my colleges, but
Okay.
when I spoke with Leo, he told me that everything was already intact. So I did send an official transcript for my undergraduate degree that showed that I had a 2.5 GPA. And then for my master's program, I also I sent him the one that I had on my computer.
Okay.
Do I still need to send an official, because you have an official to determine me eligible?
No,
for the
I don't
program?
think the master's has to be official. But I'll double check for you, but I don't believe that it does.
I don't think so, because he said that I was good to go and he had everything he needed. He had the
Yeah, he would have
undergraduate
told
one.
you. Yeah, he
Yes,
would have said,
exactly.
he would have specified for sure.
Okay. All right. Well, I don't know what time it is because I can't see that with this thing on here. So if it's 4 o'clock, you can let me go whenever you're ready.
All right, it's 4:13, so I'm gonna let you
Oh.
go. And no, don't even worry about it. You have a beautiful rest of your day. And if you need
too.
anything, do not hesitate, to text or email. And I'm available via this link every Tuesday and Thursday from 9 to 11. So like, if you have a question, you're like, you know what, I'm just gonna pop on to Zoom and ask Miss Alsada about this, assignment, or
Okay.
about this, section of my standards for STR. So every Tuesday and Thursday from 9 to 11 via this link that you use today, and with the passcode, I'm available. So keep that handy.
All right. I have it. All righty. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you. And you have a beautiful rest of your day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.